Hello, class. Today we're going to be doing a walkthrough of a question of how to find the coordinates of a center of a circle and how to solve for the radius. Let's get started. All right, so here is the question we are doing. The endpoints of the diameter of a circle are m, 3 and 5, and n, 9 and 7. We have to determine the coordinates of the center of the circle and the radius of the circle. So before we start, we have to label each coordinate X or Y. So 3 would be X1, 5 would be Y1. So 3 and 5 would be X1, Y1, and 9 and 7. So 9 would be X2, and 7 would be Y2. So they are X2, Y2. Something to keep a note of: if there are two sets of coordinates, then the first set's always going to be X1, Y1, and the second set's always going to be X2, Y2. It's just a tip that is very simple and it's very good to use. So now let's figure out how we're going to find the coordinates of the center of the circle. But first, we can find the center point of the circle because the first 2 points from the problem are the endpoints of a diameter. The middle point of the line segment is the center of the circle. So for example, let's get a circle out. And like I just said, let's put the arrow. This arrow is the diameter. This arrow is the diameter. And now with this red dot, we are trying to find the dot in the center of the circle to find the coordinates. So let's try and figure it out. But first, we're going to need to erase this and figure out our what our formula is. And our formula for this question is x1 plus x2 divided by 2 and y1 plus y2 divided by 2. That is our formula we're going to be using. So let's draw. We're going to use our 2 points, m and n. So x1 is 3 plus 9, and then that's going to be divided by 2. And then y1 plus y2 divided by 2 would be 5 plus 7 divided by 2. Okay, so 3 plus, let's go for the first one. 3 plus 9 or 9 plus 3 would be 12. So it would be, this is 12 divided by 2. 5 plus 7 or 7 plus 5 is also 12. And then that would be divided by 2. So 12 divided by 2 is 6. So this would, so the first point, x, would be 6. 12 divided by 2 for the y point would also be 6. So, therefore, the coordinates it's going to take a while. Are 6 and 6 for the center of the circle. Those are our coordinates of the center of the circle, and we have figured out A. All right, we did A, now let's do B. We need to now solve for the radius of the circle. A radius is a line segment with one endpoint at the center of the circle and the other endpoint on the circle. We can use this formula for the distance to find the distance between one of the points from the problem and the center point of the circle. So let's draw, or not draw, let's get a circle. So we got a circle here, and let's get our diameter, which with our 2 points, which are M and N. This is what we had before we did A. And then we did A, and then we found the center point of the circle, which was 6 and 6. That is the center point of the circle. So this would be C for center point of the circle. Now we need to find the radius. The radius is also the half of the diameter. We would use the center point, which would be 6 and 6, and N, which would be 9 and 7, because we are showing 1/2 of the diameter. So Now, what is the formula? The formula is distance equals square root over x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. That is the formula. So let's erase our example and let's do the question. Before we do that, 6 and 6 has to be labeled as x1 and y1 because it is the first coordinates. And so let's do it. So d equals square root bracket 9 minus 6 squared plus y2, which is 7 minus y1, which is 6 squared. So we have this. So now we have to do what's inside the bracket. So 9 minus 6, which is distance would equal square rooted. What is 9 minus 6? 9 minus 6 is 3. So 3 and in a bracket because it's two different equations plus 7 minus 6, which is 1. Which is 1 squared. Now we have 3 squared plus 1 squared. 3 squared distance equals 3 squared is 9 plus 1 squared, which is 1 times 1, which would equal 1. So now we have 9 plus 1. Distance would equal 10. So now we have figured out the inside. 9 plus 1 equals 10. Now we have to do the square root. So now we have 10. The square root of 10, you would have to use a calculator, or scientific calculator to figure this one out. And I did it off camera. And the distance of solving the radius is 3.16 and then a bunch of numbers, but I'm just going to put 3.16 and put an approximate symbol over the equal sign. This shows that this isn't an accurate representation. It is an approximate answer. So, therefore, the radius is 3.16. That is the radius. So we are completely done the question. We have figured out the coordinates of the center of the circle, which is 6 and 6. And now we have figured out the radius, which is approximately 3.16. Hope you learned a lot and hope you have a great day.